The morning of her daughter's wedding, a woman sat in my chair with her hands shaking. Her $60 foundation had already cracked along every smile line and turned orange down her jawline. This was 9 in the morning. The ceremony wasn't until 2. She looked at me and said my skin is too old for makeup. It wasn't her skin. That foundation was built for a 30-year-old and sold to her with the word anti-aging on the label. I see this every single week. Women blaming their faces for what their foundation is doing to them. I've been a Korean makeup artist for 30 years. I'm 51 myself, so I'm not guessing at what mature skin needs. I'm wearing it. My salon is mostly women in their 40s to 60s, and I've worked on thousands of faces like yours. I wiped everything off her face that morning, rebuilt her makeup with something I trusted, and she wore it for 12 straight hours. She danced, she cried through every toast, she hugged half the room. At midnight, not a single crack. I'll tell you what that foundation was, but not yet. First, 4 others that earned a place on this list, starting with a drugstore brand that has no business performing this well. Number 5. Milani Conceal and Perfect. A client in her late 50s kept bringing this one up, and when someone who truly knows her own skin swears by a product, I pay attention. So I bought a bottle and tested it myself. The coverage is medium but builds nicely without getting heavy. The finish is satin, which matters more than most people realize for skin over 50. A matte finish dries everything flat, drains the life out of your face, and grabs onto every dry patch you have. A dewy finish slides around and ends up pooling in your creases by lunchtime. Satin sits right in between. It gives your skin just enough warmth to look healthy without slipping or going chalky on you. I tested it on a client with sun damage and uneven tone across her cheeks. She had been using a department store foundation that cost 4 times as much, and it was settling into her nasolabial folds within the first hour every single day. Milani smoothed everything out without making her look painted on. The tone evened out across her cheeks, and the texture around her nose softened instead of being amplified. Where it falls short is longevity. Around the 6-hour mark, it starts settling into smile lines, and the deeper creases around the nose begin showing through. For a lunch, a coffee date, an afternoon out, it holds up well. For a full day, keep a damp beauty sponge in your bag. 10 seconds of pressing over the areas that creased and you're back. Don't rub, just press. 7 out of 10. At under $15, it outperforms foundations I've tested at 3 and 4 times the price. And if you've been spending $60 on something that cakes on you by noon, this is going to make you angry in the best possible way. But this next one is the reason working makeup artists keep a backup bottle in their kit at all times. Number 4. MAC Studio Fix Fluid. Nobody is making exciting content about this foundation. There is no celebrity campaign, no viral moment, no influencer unboxing. MAC Studio Fix has been sitting quietly on the shelf for decades doing its job while flashier brands take up all the attention. And that's exactly why I trust it. What makes it work on mature skin is buildability. You can shear it out with a damp sponge for everyday wear, and it looks like you're just having a good skin day. Or you can layer it up with a dense brush for a dinner or an event, and it gives you real coverage without ever tipping into that heavy mask territory. A lot of full coverage foundations sit on your face like a wall of product. You can see where the makeup ends and your skin begins. Studio Fix doesn't do that. It blends in and becomes part of your face. I tested it on a client who was ready to give up on foundation entirely. She told me every product she'd tried separated by early afternoon, gathering in the creases beside her mouth and breaking down around her nose. She had started leaving the house with no makeup on because she said she looked better with nothing than with foundation that fell apart on her. I applied Studio Fix with a damp sponge in thin layers. 4 hours later, the finish was still even, still smooth, still sitting exactly where I placed it. She texted me the next morning asking for the exact shade name so she could order her own bottle. That's the reaction you want from a woman who had given up. The one thing to know is hydration. This formula does not add moisture on its own. If your skin runs dry, especially through winter or while on certain medications that affect your skin, build a good base underneath first. Hydrating serum, then a rich moisturizer, then a dewy primer. Give Studio Fix something to work with and it will reward you. 7.5 out of 10. Professional quality at an honest price. Now, if that score impressed you, what number 3 does for skin that has lost its natural glow is a different level entirely. Number 3. NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. After menopause, your skin loses its natural luminosity. That soft warmth you used to have without trying just fades. Even when you've slept well and you're genuinely feeling good, your complexion can look flat and tired in the mirror. Every luminous foundation on the shelf promises to fix that. Most of them just add shimmer particles that sit on the surface of your skin and light up every wrinkle. That's not radiance. That's a glitter trick. And on mature skin, it makes texture worse, not better. NARS figured out the difference. Instead of putting sparkle on top of your face, this formula uses light diffusing technology that softens how light hits your skin from underneath. The result is a warmth that wakes your face up without any shimmer, without any sparkle, without any shine collecting in the wrong places. It makes your skin look like it does on a really good morning when everything is cooperating. I applied it on a client in her early 60s with crepey texture across both cheeks and deeper expression lines around her eyes. Those are the two areas where foundations behave their worst on mature skin. They grab onto the crepey patches and amplify them. They sink into the lines and turn your face into a roadmap of every crease you have. NARS did neither. The hydration in the formula keeps the product flexible throughout the day instead of drying stiff and settling into every fold. 4 hours later, her cheeks still looked smooth, and the lines around her eyes were actually softer than they had looked with bare skin. That almost never happens. When a foundation makes your lines look better than no makeup at all, that tells you the formula is doing something right. 8 out of 10. If nobody has been this honest with you about your foundation before, hit subscribe. Next week, I'm testing 5 concealers that claim they don't crease on mature skin. Same process, same honesty. This channel is for women our age. The rest of the beauty industry already forgot about us. Number 2. Too Faced Born This Way. The branding almost made me walk right past this one. Pink packaging, playful name, marketing that belongs on a college student's vanity. I ignored it for years, assuming it wasn't meant for my clients. But 30 years of professional work taught me to never judge a formula by its bottle. Some of the best products I've ever used had the worst packaging, and some of the most beautiful bottles held formulas that fell apart on mature skin within an hour. This foundation solves a problem that drives women our age crazy. After menopause, hormonal shifts can cause breakouts even if you haven't had acne since you were a teenager. So now you're dealing with breakouts and wrinkles at the same time, and every foundation forces you into a lose-lose. Go full coverage to hide the breakouts, and every wrinkle on your forehead looks deeper because the product is sitting in every crease. Go lighter to soften the wrinkles, and the breakouts shine right through. You can't win. A 64-year-old client had exactly this situation. Hormonal breakouts along her chin that wouldn't quit, deeper wrinkles running across her forehead. She told me she'd been bouncing between 2 foundations for months, switching depending on which problem bothered her more that morning. Born This Way handled both. It smoothed the texture, calmed the redness along her chin, and 3 hours later, the forehead was crease-free, the chin coverage hadn't moved, and the finish still had that controlled warmth that keeps mature skin from going flat or chalky. She didn't have to choose anymore. 8.5 out of 10. I've recommended this to clients for years, and not a single one has come back disappointed. But there's one foundation left, and it does something I have never seen another formula do in 30 years. Number 1. Luxe Color Changing Foundation. This is what I used on the bride's mother that morning. After I wiped off the foundation that had failed her, I reached for this. A colleague I trust in Seoul recommended it, and I ordered a bottle skeptical. The formula adapts to your actual skin tone as you blend it in. I've applied it on clients from very fair to deep complexions, and it found the right match on every single one. That entire struggle of standing at the makeup counter, trying to choose between 3 shades that are all slightly wrong, just disappears. And it doesn't oxidize. The color you see after blending is the color you're still wearing at dinner. But what earned this spot is how it sits on mature skin. I work on dry, thinning, postmenopausal skin every single day. Every foundation eventually finds a wrinkle to settle into or a dry patch to cling to. Luxe doesn't. It stays flexible on the skin, keeps the finish soft and natural, and still looks like your actual face at the end of a full day instead of a layer of product sitting on top of it. The bride's mother wore it for 12 hours. She danced, she cried, she hugged half that room. At midnight, not a single crack, not a single line filled in. In 30 years, I have never seen another product hold like that on a woman in her late 60s. 9.5 out of 10. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to see it for yourself. Your skin isn't the problem. It never was. I'll see you next week.